Hello and welcome to another Brofest collaboration with Big Bear Gaming. It must be that time of year again, Pete. We've had a Elder Scrolls announcement this week for a new expansion, and that means that you and me can get together over a good whiskey and have a damn good discussion about it. Right, that's the only part of this whole fucking video that's scripted, so it's out of the way.
Well done, buddy. Well done.
I made it.
Flawless. Flawless.
First take one.
That was magnificent. That was magnificent. You must have been practicing that. You must have been saying that in the mirror for like
if
days.
I think if I'd practiced it, Pete, it would have went a lot better the first time.
I kind of missed the first one.
Oh, I know. Anyway, how are you, buddy? And let's just do another cheers here for the people listening. Give the people what they want, give them that sweet magical sound. There we go.
Yeah. So do you want to tell what you're on tonight?
Yeah, I was going to say, this is a story I'm happy to tell more than once. So I'm on a Lafroig single malt select Scotch whiskey, and it is very, very nice indeed. It's a bit like, it's a warm, peaty whiskey, which is just perfect for this time of year.
Warm and peaty. That's exactly how I would describe myself.
And what are you on yourself?
I am on the Highland Park 12-year-old Viking Honour single malt Scotch whiskey.
Nice. And what's the description?
The description is they have a wee poem, like a Viking poem they have, and it is, I am a reflection of my ancestors and their values. I keep them close and continue to learn. To pass on those values to future generations, my name is all I truly have. Let it be a legacy of honour.
Nice.
It's a Viking Honour.
Very appropriate.
It is a beautiful smoky peat, aromatic smoky peat.
Smoky peat.
Yeah.
That's
made of the beautiful Isle of Orkney.
I was say that's what they call you around town, is Smoky Pete.
Smoky peat. That's.
All right. Well, listen. Here we are in Dragonstar Arena. I've only tried this once today for the first time and only got to round 2, so we'll figure together. We'll get a wee bit further myself. So, I mean, right, let's start from, have you been playing Elder Scrolls like all through last year, or did you have a break and come back to it, or have you been sort of fairly solid since like we stopped playing like in the Elsewhere chapter?
Had a break, stopped playing the Elsewhere chapter. Essentially without kind of like purpose, I kind of lost my drive in it.
Yeah, but it's fair. You don't really play the same game forever anyway. I don't think any game's meant to be played that way.
1 second before we begin, I need to trade with you.
No, it's a bit late. We'll do it for round 2. Trade in round 2. Because there's a wee break in between this round and the next one, so it's fine. And this one here is pretty easy, so we'll be grand. But here, Pete, it's good to be playing with you again. It's good to be like just fighting enemies and doing the work together. There's Jeff. Kicking ass.
Jeff just goes in for the. See, I'm at the minute. To let you know what I'm sort of doing at the minute. Now this may be a shock to anybody listening. I'm crafting a lot at the minute.
I think like were you disappointed that the game wasn't called Craftwood when the expansion came out?
I was like craft wood, craft ore, craft iron. One of those there, like. If you want to, you can. Do you want to go through your predictions of what you thought was going to happen?
No. We're not finished yet. We'll get to that in a minute. Because you were saying that you'd taken a break for a while, but like, what made you come back into Elder Scrolls then?
Offer being on.
It was cheap. Basically.
It was cheap. Me and you were playing ESO or not ESO, Final Fantasy.
Yep.
A lot, and then I decided that I saw that there was this here on sale during Christmas. It was quite down in price, and my lovely, thoughtful wife bought me a PlayStation voucher. So I thought, what am I going to spend it on? And then PlayStation voucher. I thought I had to reach out to you, says, it's down in price, and then we were talking about it, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to do it. So that's what I went for.
And how much was it? It was only like $8.99 or something, wasn't it?
It was 15 for the 15.
Oh, you get the collector's edition.
I
Or
like
yeah,
the
whatever
collector's
they.
edition.
Ah, yeah,
I
yeah.
don't usually use the collector's edition stuff. I just, like if I really support a game, I'll usually
Well,
buy collector's edition because I'm a bit of a fanboy.
put it this way. I mean, like the collector's edition at full price is what, like 50 quid or something, or 40, 50 quid, maybe
Yeah, yeah,
more.
yeah. Like the one that currently at the minute is just short of 50 quid.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
yeah.
if you're getting that for 15 quid, yeah. To be fair, I was quite tempted to get it myself. Actually, just I don't really use many mounts apart from my like leopard mount. So, but at the same
See,
time, it was like,
I use my Doom Wolf. Or I use my other the Wild Hunt Wolf.
yeah, yeah.
As you know, I'm all about the wolves.
You don't say, Pete. You don't say.
Well, like it might come as a shock to people, but I have been known to uh, enjoy the wolf abilities quite often.
Well, I was gonna say, like, to follow that up, I'm pretty much the same as you, where I played through the Elsewhere expansion. I loved the Elsewhere expansion, by the way. All about the Khajiit, obviously. But I'm gonna admit, I got quite burnt out towards the end because I was playing it loads. Like, I was playing it every day. I was playing through the story of Elsewhere. We were doing dungeons. We were doing DLC stuff, and it was really, really good fun. But I definitely got to the point where I'd had enough and I needed a break from it. And then
Yeah,
so 2020 came around, and at that point I think I was playing different games on the PlayStation, but also getting the Final Fantasy 14 with yourself as well.
yeah.
And that took up a lot of my MMO time last year. And then, do you know what happened? Even before I knew it was on sale, like both you and Charlie mentioned more or less exactly the same time, and it was just like a really simple phrase. It was like, I might give ESO another go. And as soon as you both
Well,
said that, I was
I,
like, yes, I
I
want that.
believe my conversation to you went along the lines of, oh, it's down in price, and I've got this voucher thing. But I don't know whether to use it. It's like, and then you were like, how much is it? I was like, it's £10 or £15. You were like, I have
I
£10 or £15.
have 10 or 15 points. Yeah. Well, that's good value. To be fair, like you can't argue with that. That is excellent value. But
Yeah.
it was kind of like it was one of them things. For that price, I was like, well, I'll give it a go. I'll see how I find it. I don't know if I'll get back into it in the same way again. Because you see, right, going back again, whenever Greymore was announced and Greymore launched, I was like, I wasn't overly excited about it because I'd just come out of Elsewhere and it's kind of like, this kind of just seems like a Skyrim but with more vampires. But let me
Oh, whoa,
follow
whoa,
that
whoa,
up.
whoa, whoa, whoa. But like, werewolves too.
Werewolves too. Yep, don't get me wrong, werewolves too. But let me follow that up by saying I have friggin' loved Greymore. Absolutely loved it. They've done such a great job with it. I was super impressed, and I would even go as far as to say it to me doesn't feel like Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. It feels like it's its own
Oh,
experience.
but now, correct me if I'm wrong, but the intro bit that we got to listen to, did you not love it?
Oh yeah, yeah. Like the intro is like a callback to Skyrim. Oh, sorry, you're wanting to trade.
Yeah. Oh, you're
Uh,
finally awake.
what are you
And
trading?
yeah, at the minute it said
Oh, you
that, I
trading
was
food.
like, this is the most amazing thing.
I will give you. How much do you want for food? What's the general?
Uh,
No, no, I'll give you 1,000.
okay.
What was I going to say there? Right, yeah. So it feels like its own separate experience. It doesn't feel like it's a continuation of like Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. It does and the atmosphere, with the vampires and the werewolves. The story makes absolute sense. Oh, I don't know if there's a chest there. I mean, I did this earlier on. I didn't even see that chest. How about that?
What a noob.
I know, right? But anyway, my
I
point
mean,
being,
I
I,
mean, oh, don't worry about the girls. It happens.
I have really enjoyed Greymore. It's been a great expansion so far. Really, really, really good.
I'll be honest with you. I haven't actually witnessed any expansion
I know you haven't.
in
I
its
was. I was gonna
entirety.
say. I was gonna say you've got them all though. You own
Yeah,
all of them,
I've got them all. I've got all of them, and all of them on collector's edition.
and you've seen the crafting stations in each
I've seen
expansion,
it.
and they're all the
I've seen
same,
the
but
crafts.
it's a different town.
I've seen the different crafting sets that they sometimes release them, and
Um, well, that's what I mean. Like, you see,
look,
for this
I
expansion,
play the game how it's meant to be played.
yeah. Well, you play it your way.
No, I
And
play it the way it's meant to be played.
But I think this is kind of almost the best way to experience one of the expansions because if you're only paying between 8 and 15 quid, say, and you're getting so much value for your money, you're not going to be disappointed at all. Before like we get on to the actual expansion that was announced there, whenever like the build up to an expansion is always an exciting time anyway, because there's lots of speculation about what's going to happen or what to expect, and we had quite a few discussions coming up to the announcement there on Tuesday. So before it was announced, right, what were you thinking was going to happen, or what were you predicting that was going to be announced?
Well, I'm not too sure. I didn't know where it was going to be placed, but I knew that we were going to go to Oblivion. I maybe naively thought that we were going to spend all our time in the Oblivion realms, the Deadlands. I suppose I didn't really think about it. I was more so thinking maybe there would be a new class or weapon style or something. Well, I wasn't really too sure about 100% about the weapons, because the weapons in Elder Scrolls have been established and they've never changed, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah, no, I think you're right there. I don't think they've added in any new weapons as such since the beginning.
Yeah.
That's a very good point. I never thought about that.
But I thought maybe there'd be like a different type of magic, maybe even like something to do with like Oblivion style magic, like, you know, Demora or Daedra style magic, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily summoning, but it didn't have to necessarily be summoning, but something, you know, along those lines. You know.
Well, so what? Like we sort of had a teaser a wee while ago, and we knew that it was going to be based around the Gates of Oblivion. But like, did you predict any classes that might be announced, like based on that title, or did you have any ideas of what like you would like to see?
Well, I didn't. I would kind of like. I mean, you know, where you had the on-handed skill. You had on-handed skill in Oblivion. I thought maybe they'd even bring out just an on-handed skill, or like, you know, allow you to have fist weapons and an on-handed skill. You know, maybe something like that, because that wouldn't be deviating too far away, I thought.
Yeah.
As for like classes, I thought maybe like well, I thought what would have been cool maybe would have been like a monk style character, because I know we couldn't really have like a what you call those there guys. We couldn't have like a Templar kind of thing, because we've already got a Templar or like a Knight of the Nine, you know. We've already got all that there.
Like, I know a lot of people were almost expecting there to be a new class, and some people were talking about like a monk class, where it'd be like an unarmed like fist fighter, or like a spellblade, because you know the way in Elder Scrolls 5 and 4 you can have a sword in one hand and a spell in the other hand, that sort of setup.
Yeah.
But in a way,
Well,
you can still kind of do that.
you can do that there now.
Yeah, it's almost like everything you can think of, you can almost do it already. So, yeah, it was hard to kind of imagine what they could really do that hasn't been done already. So, yeah, but I was a bit surprised. Well, I was expecting it to almost be, if not a new class, maybe a new weapon or a new skill line, or
Well, I know you mentioned to me about spears, and to be honest with you, I thought that spears maybe would have been pretty cool, because, you know, like, it's not as if people wouldn't have spears in you know, in this kind of world anyway. Kind of, you know,
Yeah.
thought.
doing great, Pete. I have to say, you're
Hey,
doing
well,
very well.
I'll raise you for
No,
the
no,
last bit.
just you're just showing off now. Aye, just for the
Well,
last bit.
quite keep you about, you know.
I'll take the kill and blow, sure. Clean the
Yeah.
There we go. Well done, well done. Yeah, so that's kind of where we were. We were predicting, as far as like weapons and skills go, we thought there was going to be something new, maybe like even a new crafting thing.
Yeah. I would have loved the new crafting kind of thing.
All right, well let's talk about what was announced.
Okay.
And then we can talk about our thoughts on it and see like how we feel about it. So, whenever I tuned in sort of for the live first half an hour of it, and then I've sort of been slowly catching up on it over the past couple of days. So first of all,
Not to
they did,
interrupt you, but just give you a heads up. There's going to be poison clouds in this kind of thing, and you'll just have to keep moving about
Right.
to different areas. Poison's going to be more hurtful to me because I'm weak against poisons.
oh right, okay,
I'm a werewolf, so if we take more poison damage.
sucks for you.
there's no silver damage in this game, so had to be poison.
All right. Well, first of all, they dropped the big cinematic trailer, and then revealed the title as Blackwood. What did you think of the cinematic when it came out?
Yeah. The cinematic was great.
Yeah, man, absolutely. It was good to see the Argonian getting a bit more sort of focus in the trailers, because they've been Argonians in the trailers before, but they've always been kind of a wee bit more in the background. Probably because they're a bit difficult to animate, I imagine.
I sort of half joked to you about a kind of a class that might have been interesting to see, but I was a wee bit serious. I thought maybe like an artificer would have been great. That their kind of class.
Right. Yeah. So explain to me what you mean by that.
So an artificer usually like creates like constructs and magical items. That's kind of that's their kind of skills,
Mm-hmm.
So I was thinking maybe if they had something like that there, and maybe if you like, maybe it would be kind of interesting to kind of have it like boosted upon your like actual crafting skills. But then maybe that's getting too meta. You know what I mean?
Not well. No, I see where you're going with it. So it's almost like I'm trying to think of like another. You know the way like is it Final Fantasy would have like the machinist or the machinist?
I did like the mechanist.
Yeah, and I remember Guild Wars 2 had like a engineer class, and it used like it crafted turrets and it crafted different guns and things like that.
Yeah.
I could see that.
Yeah, like crafting like stone like guardians or something, like that kind of thing.
Or even using like some of the
golems or something.
Some of the Dwemer stuff as well. It's very interesting.
Yeah. Essentially, Mehrunes Dagon through the I think it's the Silver Dawn. Is it the Silver Dawn or the Rising Dawn or the? Essentially, it's something Dawn. It's that's like you'll have seen symbols on the thing of that sunrise kind of thing.
Silver Dawn sounds right.
Silver Dawn, I think so. But no, essentially they're Daedric worshippers. They have this book that brings them to this paradise thing that they created, and they're trying to help Mehrunes Dagon.
And was that the cult that we seen in the trailer?
Could be.
I think you could be onto something there. Very good.
But essentially, what the essentially what their situation is, they want to help them out, and they killed the Emperor. So you start off as a prisoner, and the Emperor just so happens you're in the prison cell that has the secret passage to the sewers, and the Emperor's like, oh, well, I've seen you in my dreams, and all this kind of jazz, and you're like, oh, okay. I've heard that one before.
Mm-hmm.
So essentially, what he then wants you to do is he lets you come with him, or sort of be unchained anyway, and then he gets killed, he gets assassinated. You get the Amulet of Kings, and you have to find his last living relative, which is Martin Septim. And you go through all that there kind of stuff to then stop the Oblivion crisis, and because there's Oblivion gates opening up all over the world, and the whole world is being decimated by this, except for one location, and that is Black Marsh.
Oh, that's interesting.
So the Argonians, whether it was through the Hist or through Sithis, which they think they communicate through the Hist with Sithis, they were warned about the Oblivion crisis. They were told about it. They got information about this long before it would happen. So whenever other places were being invaded, so the Oblivion portals opened up, and the Mora and the Daedra came flooding out. When their portals opened, the Argonians went flooding in, and they invaded Oblivion.
That is badass, isn't it?
So yeah, that's yeah. Sithis is believed to be like the kind of father of the Daedra, like he's the Dread Father. They believe that he's like the original, like all-powerful god of which the more the age we're born from. So the Oblivion Crisis obviously takes this year it takes 800 years into the future. So what we're kind of facing is attempt number one, I assume.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, because he had these like engines that, in order to shut down the Oblivion gates, you had to go in, fight your way through the Oblivion place, go into this tower, and like take out this core. And the core would give you like a cool like kind of enchant that you could put in your weapons and armor. But essentially taking out that core shut down the gates, you know. And it was a pretty cool thing.
So that was the next thing. Just before we got on to companions, were you disappointed that they didn't announce a new class, or they didn't announce like a new weapon or crafting?
Yes and no. I think it's a very as I was sort of explaining to Louise, my wife there. It was I was disappointed, but it's not as simple as that. As being disappointed, if that makes sense.
Yeah, go on.
What they showed and what they did was very small and very limited. So you can't really say what all they've got entailed, but yes, obviously if they had a class in mind, they would have mentioned the class. I was a wee bit disappointed there was no class, but I understand that this has been in develop in a year, meanwhile the other stuff maybe hasn't been a year. I'm not too sure.
Okay.
So
well,
it's quite hard to say.
I think I don't know if disappointed is the right word. I think I was surprised they didn't announce a different class or a different kind of skill line.
Yeah.
Mainly because like it's just what everybody was expecting.
I was a wee bit shocked more so at how short it was.
Yeah.
I thought there was going to be more said, but it was sort of like more like well, this is it.
Right. Do you think is that partly due to the fact that it wasn't a live event in front of like a live audience as such? It was just, you know, they're all working from home. They all had to do it in their own different kind of times and studios and stuff. And I wonder, was it just limited in terms of like what they could do, or what was it a case of, right? They, in terms of like the stuff they had to show, it might not have been as much as previous expansions, so therefore, you know, maybe they didn't feel the need to drag it out any longer than it had to be.
Maybe.
And I wonder as well, like, was it? Oh, there's stuff to.
I think I had to leave before I came to this one. So these puzzles will have to be something. I'll have to figure out how to work.
We'll figure it out. Yeah, so I was surprised more than anything that there wasn't an announcement for a new class or new skill line or weapon or anything, because again, that's just what everybody was expecting. But at the same time, they've got a game where it's set up now, it's balanced now with the classes and the weapons that they've got, and you know, if they don't need to add anything else, there's no point in doing it just for the sake of an expansion, because then you just get a redundant class that nobody's really going to be too impressed with.
I remember making a kind of like a warrior character that didn't carry any a sword, just a shield, and like used a summon sword.
In Skyrim?
Skyrim, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. That's pretty good.
I also made like a stealthy person that used illusion magic. So like I had like next to no armor. All my stuff was illusion. So like my thing was that I killed people like just with one hit, pretty much. Like what I essentially maxed out my illusion. I would go into a town. I would use like the kind of pacify ability, and then oh dear.
Right.
The mass pacify ability. Sorry,
Don't say that. Whenever you say that,
well,
makes me panic.
I was stunned for a while there. The mass pacify ability, and then all I do is just walk around and just cut people's throats, and that was it.
Very good.
I was pish against dragons. I couldn't kill a dragon for the life of me, but I never completed the storyline in Skyrim.
Exactly. I'm not surprised, but you know, did you do much crafting in Skyrim, Pete?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I always had good crafting in Skyrim now. There's something wrong with me.
Well,
pretty much all my characters craft.
Well, let's talk about the main thing they did announce that is going to be new to the game is the companion system. So let's talk about that a wee bit because like there's companions in Skyrim. You can hire companions and they can follow you around and help you out in combat and stuff. Is there companions
Yeah.
in Oblivion as well? I'm assuming there is or something similar.
I think so.
Yeah. So I mean,
I'd say I never really used companions. I don't think there, to be honest, I don't think there really was many companions in Oblivion. I don't remember you having any. I just remember that in Skyrim, what kind of disappointed me was the vampires, because the vampires in Oblivion were so amazing. Uh, there was no werewolves in Oblivion, unfortunately, so it wasn't a perfect game. But
I don't think I've ever heard you compliment the vampires before, ever.
oh well, like to be honest with you, like the vampires, like it pretty much increased like nearly all your stats, and there used to be a stat in Oblivion called acrobatics and athleticism.
Yeah.
And essentially, so like it was like how fast you ran, how high you jump. So if you had like max acrobatics, and then you were a vampire, it like brought you over the max, and you could like jump from rooftop to rooftop in the houses. It was amazing.
Cool. Very good. Very good. Well, as far as like the system in Elder Scrolls Online goes, is companions something that you think you could make use of, or like what's your thoughts on it?
Well, see, I heard what they said was that you could like make them, like pimp them out with gear, and I was like, yeah, I'm going for a companion. My companion's gonna have like legendary gear on it.
I was gonna say it's another excuse to craft, isn't it?
Yeah, and so pretty much that's my excuse.
There's something on me. But one thing I can see it really working out for, right? Because I think you can take them into dungeons, right? The only place you can't use them is like PvP.
Now I would assume that's like a dungeon that's not full.
Yeah. So I was gonna say, for example, right? Say you've got 3 mates, or one, you've got 4 mates, one of them can't make it. You can use a companion as your 4th member of the dungeon, and then that fills that slot. I think that's kind of how I'm looking into it. In that case, it's very, very handy, and it's kind of a reason to have a companion and to make the most of them.
Oh yeah, and like essentially for me, who is just so I've only started putting points into like damage and stuff recently.
Yeah.
That's only a recent thing of me. But even my damage isn't great. I literally have to go in order to do real big damage. I kind of have to go into werewolf form.
I was gonna say, like, how do you find it? Well, I know you don't do a lot of stuff in the overworld for questing, but like, do you not find questing a bit slow whenever you're sort of trying to take down stuff, or is it alright?
It can be. It can be, yeah. It can be because of the nothing else. It can be because of the lack of damage and stuff. But again, I did the mission I did like the kind of prequel mission for Greymore, where you like tracking the witches and stuff.
Yeah.
And I just pretty much ran about as a werewolf killing them.
Yeah.
And I've got my DPS kind of thing, which I've got 3 abilities to help me with DPS, and that's my Noxious Breath, my Venomous Claw, and my Molten Weapons.
Companion for you that would do like damage, like a damage-based companion.
Damage or a healer. Healer, so I just don't have to worry about it as much. Damage, so I don't have to heal so much, or damage, or just simply to like help me kill shit. But then that's also why I've got Jeff with me. I would farm for a different monster set, but Jeff's really handy. Like Jeff's kind of comes in and just wrecks boys. Like
yeah, absolutely.
No.
You watched it, you realised it wasn't about crafting, and you're like, no, fuck this. I'm out.
Look, just bring me my crafting class. That's all I want. I will re-roll a pinking crafting class. That's all I want. Pinking crafting class. Give it to me now.
He just taunts
I
everyone
want
around.
a blacksmith's hammer, and I want to that's what I want to do.
There must be a game. Can you
there,
just go and
maybe.
play Minecraft or something and be satisfied?
No, I don't need Minecraft. I just need my crafting class. Look, ESO's got one of the best crafting in this game, in this not game,
Genre,
in this
yeah,
kind of genre. It's got like it's one of the best, possibly the best. Next to Final Fantasy.
Yep, totally agree.
Final Fantasy is amazing.
It's a world of its own, isn't it? It really is.
Yeah, but there's a lot of poison circles there.
Yeah.
You may.
I don't even think they're poison
Oh, right. Yeah, don't let her stand in those poison circles.
Ah, is she healing?
She is not healing, but she is shooting poison arrows.
Right, okay.
Sorry, not to digress away from all that there stuff.
No, I think we're pretty much done with the.
No.
with the
I think she just shoots poison arrows in general.
Okay. Is this something you would like to buy at launch, like whenever it comes out in June, for full price, or would you rather like wait for the sale and get it cheap and get everything at once?
I was tempted to pre-order.
All right. Okay.
But
The only reason I'm asking, right, is because it's great to be a part of it whenever it comes out, because then the servers are really populated, everybody's getting excited about it, everyone's in the same area doing the same things, but then you're paying that full price for it, so you're almost like, I really want this to be.
you feel like you have to then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, see, the thing is, with most of my stuff, I've never paid full price for them. I always wait for sales to come out. Oh look, not Jeff.
Because
Jeff and this guy will fight. Sorry, I got excited because there was a not Jeff there.
Jeff on Jeff action.
Jeff on Jeff action. That's it, Jeff. You get in there, big man. You show him what you're made of.
I don't want to kill the wrong one now and upset you. So.
You can't kill Jeff. He's too OP. Sorry. Yeah, I've never actually paid full price for a lot of my expansions or games. I've always got them on sales. I love them sales. So yes, even Final Fantasy, I've got them all on sales.
Yeah.
Twice a year, Final Fantasy will sell their stuff on 50% off. So I always wait for that.
Cool. Yeah, I think that's almost like the best way to experience it, because then you're getting such good value for money. You're just getting such you're getting the full package, and you're not kind of like under pressure to.
You value money, man. Love your value for money.
We do, absolutely. We know the value of a pound. That's for sure. So
I'm just
yeah,
read this in there. Back there.
It's a funny one, because as much as I'm excited for it, I think it's a great announcement. I do wonder.
You're happy waiting a year.
I am happy waiting a year. I have to say I am, because you see, between now and June, I'll probably play a good bit of Elder Scrolls, but whenever June comes around, I might not be in the mood for it at that point.
Yeah.
I might be playing.
And having spent 50 quid, nearly the guts of 50 quid in a game that you might not be in the mood for playing.
Yeah, exactly.
Sounds a bit dangerous to me, but don't get me wrong. Had they have offered something that maybe, for pre-ordering, that I would have really liked, or would have really kind of shouted out at me,
Yeah.
I might have been more inclined to actually do that there, to go for it. Oh shit! I think we got to stop this here, bitch.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she's healed herself.
I know. I didn't think of that. That's right. I'll clear a bit of space here. Shit. No. Gonna die. It's the orbs. Yeah, I missed the orbs. I missed the balls.
Shit, there's another one. Are you dead?
I'm dead, mate. Yes, I'm afraid.
Oh shit, man. Sorry, I wasn't keeping people off you.
No, it's my own fault. I was trying to get the orbs.
Do you want me to? Are we at the boss yet?
I don't know. But I was gonna say, if we both die, is that it? Over?
I think you get another chance. You think you can try it a couple of times, but.
Well, I'm happy enough. If we die, we die. We can do a dungeon or something after this here.
Yeah, well, we do need to do. I do need to do my Undaunted stuff, and I could not. You know what? I'm gonna have to do.
We'll fight. Well, if the other thing is right, if you think about the past expansions have always been quite big. Because if you imagine, like with Greymore, you got the new class, or it's not the class, you got the new area, you got the antiquity system, you got the new vampire skill line. There's quite a lot going on there.
But that all was affected into the base. The vampire skill line was in the baseline of the game. So like whenever they change things, like your little small things, it's not really like
That's not a
that
big
big.
change, yeah. It's not a
You
big,
know,
yeah.
it's not, they're
Fair
not
enough.
seeing it as like an extra add-on kind of thing.
Hmm.
They're seeing that as more of a this is just